Morning, everybody. 9 o'clock here, April 22nd in Thailand. And today we're going to talk once again about the real cost of living because I just want to get it through some people's thick skulls that, you can't just come here with a couple $100 and think you're going to live here. That's one thing. And I know we've talked about this before many times. But there's always stuff to talk about when it comes to money because most people don't plan, they don't think about what they're going to need in the future and what might happen. And I'll tell you what, my shoulder is a perfect example. And I've been shopping around for doctors and MRIs and stuff like that. I don't know I'm going to need to do it because my shoulder might be getting a little better. So if it heals on its own, great. If it doesn't, though, I got to go in and get an MRI, and that can cost anywhere from about 8,000 baht up to about 20,000 baht. So, you got to have money stashed so that you can go and do these things. And then you need to have insurance, right? So, and preferably you have outpatient insurance as opposed to just inpatient insurance. Now, I don't have inpatient or outpatient insurance rather, because generally we can pay for anything that's outpatient, unless it were extreme. And in some cases, well, if it's 300,000, 500,000, I'd rather not pay that. I don't think anybody would rather shell out money than keep it for themselves. So anyway, that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you're here already, you're one of the 9 or 10 people here already, drop a message in the chat, say hello, let me know where you're watching from, and maybe if you're already living in Thailand, or you're thinking about it, because I always wonder about that. Good morning, Propeller Head. Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to say my good mornings now. Good morning to you all. Sawadee Ton Chow. Nice espresso macchiato today. Today we're going to be talking about this important subject, and it's not the YouTube fantasy version. We're not going to be given the guy who's been in Thailand for 2 months and says, "Oh, I promise you can be here for 15,000 baht a month." Okay, good for you. If that's how you want to live, good for you. I'm going to give you the straight scoop. And I know that people who really know, well, they know. They don't need me to tell them this. It just confirms what they already know. When you go out and you want to spend a couple of hundred baht on something, you don't want to have to go, oh my God, am I going to pay my rent? Can I pay my rent if I pay for this sandwich? They don't want to worry about that. Nobody really does. And, there's these guys, we know there are many people who say they're living like a king, and yet they shop at 7-Eleven and buy, $5 worth of food to last them for 4 days, something like that. And maybe they can't afford to pay for Wi-Fi, so they're mooching Wi-Fi from wherever they can. That's not living to me. So this stream is kind of for people who want the truth. My nose is horribly stuffed up today. But whether you're a retiree, a digital nomad, or just someone who wants to come over here and kind of reinvent yourself, you need to know what we're talking about. In case you don't know, for those people who don't know, I'm Scott. I'm an American who lives here in Thailand. I've lived here for more than 30 years now. Good morning. And before I even start here, I'm going to say, if you like this stream, if you like the videos that I put up, if you like the channel, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already done so, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the next video or live stream. I'd appreciate it. If you want to send me a Dear Scott letter, or you have a question, or you need a consultation, email me at an American and American in Bangkok at gmail.com. So that's pretty much about it. Good morning. Good morning. Today we're going to go over the true cost of living here, and we have to be realistic. And this is not 1999. This is 2025. And I had this talk with my son. I said, listen, you're in school. The reason you're going to school is so that you can get a better job, so that you can earn more money and have a better life. Now, money does not always equate a better life, but it sure helps. And what I said to him was, when you start to have money, women start to notice you for some reason. Not always, but when they know, oh, you've got your act together, that's important. One thing women don't want is a stupid guy, even if they do look pretty good. They don't want a stupid guy. They want somebody who's intelligent and who can take care of them and take care of themselves. So basically, this little budget, that what I'm going to talk about, it goes over the dirt cheap survival budget, and to a budget I think is somewhat normal, a budget that most people can be comfortable with. If they have to eat out every day and eat breakfast at a nice restaurant and eat lunch at a nice restaurant and eat dinner at a nice restaurant every single day, that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that stuff. Well, there's a lot of people here that have not been in here before. Well, Propellerhead has, and I think 66 Ups has, Paul G. But good morning. Good morning in Angola. Okay. Angola, that's a wild place, I guess. It used to be. So let's get into it here. Well, first of all, I forgot. I don't want to forget this. Some people count on knowing these things. The US dollar is 33.24 to the Thai baht. I'm a little disappointed with this because they had predicted 36 at the end of the month. Now it got to 35 and some change, maybe a week or so, week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and that's all right. It's good. Okay, great. And now we're back to where we were before. I don't get it. Now maybe it has to do with Trump or this or that or tariffs or whatever. I don't know. But as long as it stays above 33, I'm okay. But I like above 34. The air quality today is 49, which is not bad. That's pretty good. Okay, for here, it's pretty good. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, so the temperature right now, man, it is so hot out. Let me just tell you. I got out, and in my village where I get picked up, it's shade. So I'm nice and cool. Then when I start going down the street, once I get out away from the village, it's very hot. By the time I get to the mall, I'm like, it's blistering hot. It is so hot that I was just like, man, I can't wait to get inside into the air conditioning. And I'm not one of these guys who doesn't like the heat. I mean, I grew up in Florida, and I've lived here for a long time. And some people go, oh, you get used to it. No, you just get used to being hot and dealing with it. Not that you just say, oh, well, now I don't even feel it. Of course I feel it. It's always hot. It's always hot here. But now is a period of time where it's really, really hot. In Celsius, the current temperature is 32, high of 36, low of 28. The feel like temperature right now is 34. In Fahrenheit, current temperature, 90 degrees, and it's only 9 o'clock when I checked. 97 degrees is the max today. 82 is the low, and 93 is the feel like temperature. So when you're out on the street, it's like 93 degrees, and it is 67% humidity. So there's a fair amount of humidity. And man, I'm telling you, the heat is just the only word I know how to describe it. And once I start using this word, once I start using this word, I know it's getting really hot, and that is brutal. You know, now let me see here. May to October is the wet season. The cool season, November to February, and the hot season, March to May. So we're right in the middle of the heat, and hopefully we'll. I mean, I don't want to say hopefully we'll get some cooler weather, and it'll be freezing here. It won't. But it's nice when it's around 78, 80 degrees, and the humidity is at a bare minimum. But that doesn't usually happen. So let's see here. Now, the reason that this conversation kind of matters, why budgets are important, not just why you have more money in your pocket as opposed to spending. Because now the way that I think now is a little different than I thought before. I used to just spend money, and I'd be like, okay, I got to spend this and do that. And I know sometimes you have to spend money. But now I think to myself, do I need this or do I want it? And if I want it, I go, let me hold back on this. I don't always I don't always, I don't know. It's always important. Money's always important. But I used to think, oh, well, I'll spend this money. I'll make more. Now I think to myself, is this important? Do I need to spend it? What might I need in the future as opposed to right now? And fortunately, I mean, there's been times when I didn't have much cash, but I always had money in the bank. And my wife always had money in the bank. We had money in the bank. And before then, when I was single, I mean, there were times when I was flush, I had plenty of money. And there were times where I was like, man, I got no cash. But I had everything I needed and all the bills were paid and I had money in the bank. So Thailand is changing and you need more money. That's the bottom line. Inflation is very real. Immigration is a little more strict. And as I will get into towards the end of this, stream, there are too many arrivals here in Thailand and elsewhere. Okay, this is not, like I said, 1999. And if you are not prepared, then you're going to struggle. So you better be prepared. And that's why I always say to these people, they're 22, 25 years old, maybe 27 or 28. Oh, I'm so tired of America. I'm so tired of it here. Oh, you big pussies. That's what you are. You're a bunch of big pussies. I'm so tired of it. Well, how do you think the cowboys felt back, 150, 200 years ago? You think they liked the Old West? You think they liked going across the country in a wagon? You think they like that? Most people are pussies now. And listen, sometimes I'm tough, and I know I can be very, very tough mentally. And sometimes I'm like, I just don't want to deal with it. I want to whine. But most people, they are little pansies now. Immigration here owes you nothing. Nobody here owes you anything. I got a family. My family cares about me, but my wife puts it, she always comes up with these things that make me think. When my shoulder got hurt, and even now when she doesn't say a word. She says, oh, baby, are you okay? She didn't tell me that. When it happened, she just listened and she goes, "Oh, well, that's really bad. How bad is it?" I said, "It's bad." Well, maybe you should go to the doctor. Yes, I know maybe I should go to the doctor, but maybe I'll, like I do everything when it comes to the doctor. Hey there, Jim. Um, I will try to let it heal. I'll give it some time. Now it's been a week. It's been, I think today is the 8th day. I said I'll let it heal on it, and I'll look up things online, and I'll do what I can. And I've had it in a sling. I put it in a sling now and then, just so that I don't move very much. And we're ready. If I need to do this, okay, I don't want to do it, but we can do it. I can do it. So you got to be prepared. But this is not what it was when I first came here. Well, we call them wimps too. Wimps, pansies, pussies, soy boys, whatever. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm the toughest guy on the block by any means. I mean, if I call my mother up and say, "Oh, my arm hurts. It really hurts, Mom." She'll go, "Do I hear some wine? You want some cheese with that wine?" That's what she'll say. Or if I say, "Oh, something hurts," so get it taken care of or stop whining about it. That's where I come from. So when I hear these people, they talk about they come over here and, "Oh, it's so tough. Immigration, it's so hard." Let me tell you something. It's not that hard. Okay. But you do need moolah. And you don't have to have a $500,000. You don't have to have $1,000,000. That's nice. Of course, it's nice. It's nice when you have money. But guess what? You don't have to have that much if you're smart. You don't want to be surviving. You don't want just the bare minimum. You don't want that stress because, man, it sucks being poor. I mean, like really poor. Some guy said to me a long time ago, he said, this is in a stream. It's probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I said, "Hey, like I'll say right now, if you want to give me a super chat, feel free. It helps me to kind of stay motivated for the channel. It gives me a little bit of extra money, which I can always use. Um, you can do whatever you want. You can Cash App, you can Zelle, there's so many ways now, but they're all in the description. But anyway, I said something about, okay, anybody who wants to contribute to the channel, please feel free. If you don't want to, that's fine. It's up to you." And he said, "I get out and go into a tractor every day, and I sit there and move dirt every single day. And I'm supposed to feel sorry for you because you're over there living it up in paradise." Now, first of all, this is paradise. If you're on a vacation, you can have paradise temporarily. And I'm like, "Listen, you're the one. If you want to come over here, make your way. Do it on your own. Save the money up. Come over here." "Oh, well, I've got a family. Well, get your family involved. Get your kids on the lemonade stand. Get your wife, make sure she's working, not staying home watching, Sally Jesse Raphael or whatever. I don't know. I don't think she's still on, but, do something about it. Don't cry to me." That's the whole thing. Figure out the solution and do it. And obviously, if you don't want to do it, then it's not that important to you. All right. So you don't want to just survive here. You want to live, which means you need to have a fair amount of balance in your budget. You need to figure out, what do you want to spend your money on? What do you need to spend your money on? I come from the place where I say, when you come over here, you have no bills. You don't owe child support. Well, there's $400. There's $800. You don't have child support. You don't have alimony. You don't have any of these things. This is where I come from. Those things are extra because I can't figure that out for everybody. You need to have a little bit of room so that you can enjoy your life. I mean, I'm not going that many places right now, and I kind of have the urge to go somewhere, but I don't really have. I just don't really feel like I've got to go right now and I've got to get going. I've been all over the world. I've done things 10 times over, you know. So I don't feel the need. And that's up to me, and that's up to somebody, that's up to an individual. But you need to figure out what it is you want. If you're going to come over here, if you're going to live here, if you're living here, you need to figure out, what are you here for? You're here for the women? Well, that's going to get old, man. I hate to say it. Pussy gets old. Now, if you had a good woman and you're in a relationship, well, I'm in love, and that lasts for a little while. And the reality is that then you become a couple, and you got to figure out how you're going to do things in the future. And what I told my kid was, I said, listen, you're young. Land a chick by the time you're 30. Or just stay single if that's what you want. But the older you get, then the older the women are going to get most of the time, unless you're paying for it. And the less they're going to love you for you. So when you're young, oh, he's so cute. Oh, he's lovely. I can't think about being without him. That's what the girls are thinking, right? By the time you get older, you're a little chunkier. You got less hair. You're a little grouchier. The women don't want you. They want the money. I said the trick is to get them young. Get them when they're young. I mean, they're 21, 22. You're 24. Okay. Well, now, unless you're living here in Thailand, that's not going to happen. And then if you are going to land some girl, for instance, you better plan it in the budget, because things will change. And if you're going to live here long term, it's going to be more expensive. So I got a couple of tiers here. And obviously, there's the people who say, oh, I can live off of $500 a month. Now, even if you have your rent paid, you still have to pay electricity, and maybe that's only 1,000 baht. You might have to pay water. Maybe that's only 100, 200 baht. You still got to pay internet. Well, that's not that much. If you just got internet on your phone, I mean, my internet is about 400 baht a month, and I got 60 gigabytes of bandwidth. So I have enough bandwidth for all month, for live streams, for watching whatever I want to watch, for doing whatever I want to do. And it's only 400 baht. Then you need money for food. Well, how do you want to eat? Because if you're living off of $600 to $800 a month, maybe your rent is 4,000 to 6,000. You're basically eating street food all the time. You're not going out buying a big steak. The other day, I was surprised. I bought 2 big pork chops. This 350 baht. That's about 10 bucks, right? 11 bucks. 10.50. Now, one of them is for me. One of them is for me later, or for one of the kids, if they want it. Alex can't really eat pork chops right now. And so if you're going to go and buy stuff, like, well, what about vegetables? What about a potato? What about side dishes? What about? Now, if you're cooking, sometimes you cook at home. Okay, you buy in bulk. You buy a bag of rice. You buy a 5-kilo bag of rice. Well, that rice lasts for a long time. You get a lot of meals out of that. You want to cook fried rice with eggs. Eggs are cheap here. This ain't like it is in the United States here. I can get 10 eggs for 43 baht. And those are large eggs. I can get, 30 eggs for 130 baht, I think is what it is. And I hate pad krapao. I hate it. I really despise it. I don't like it at all. I don't like the flavor. I don't like the basil. But okay. Now, think about this. You probably don't have any insurance because you can't afford it unless somebody's paying for it for you. You probably don't travel around to go international because, hey, you're going to have to get back in. You're going to have to pay. You go out, you got to pay. You go to the airport, you're going to eat when you're in the airport most of the time. Most people will do that. And now you can be this, you can be the stinky backpacker who doesn't have any money and he doesn't buy anything, or can I have a glass of water, please? Okay, I understand that. But there's constant pressure on you. That is the lowest tier that you're going to get. And the people who aren't paying rent are people who are living with some girl, or they're living with a family that they maybe they know them or something. They're lucky enough not to have to pay rent, and that you don't want to have to rely on. Well, I don't have to pay any rent, but if you do have to pay rent, it's at the bare minimum. All right, let me read some of these messages. How's my shoulder of late? Now it hurts, but I'm on some pain medicine and ibuprofen and. So I feel all right, but it does hurt. Last year in July, the average temperature was 111.5 in Vegas. Nothing to sneeze at. Good morning. Good morning. It's a fine line between paradise and I'm going for Muay Thai and working on my Thai language ability. I like immersing myself in the local culture. I hate gringo traps. Well, I came to Thailand for Muay Thai many years ago, and I quickly found out I'm not going to make much money here if I fight. And I mean, I did make money once. It was 2,000 baht. And, that was it. I lived there for a few weeks on $1,200 per month, and it wasn't much fun. No, it's not. Listen, if you are living here and you're living off of what is really a pittance, which is, 45,000 baht. If you're living off of 40,000 baht, okay, you can do it if you're single. If you have a girlfriend, you might go out and eat at some little street stall or something like that. But you really have to watch your money. Okay, that is the lowest level. Take the non-air conditioned bus or overnight train if traveling. Well, I mean, listen, see, to me, I'm like, well, you can just take the air conditioned bus. It's 20 baht. The other ones are like 5 baht or 10 baht or something like that. My rent alone is already 40,000 a month. We are renting on purpose, by the way, because we still have to decide whether we want to build a house in Thailand. Okay, I mean, I know somebody here who's his rent's 31,000. I knew somebody else, his rent was 21,000. I lived in a place where my rent was, how much was the highest that I paid? I think it was 30,000. And I started out at that place. It was 6,000. Then I went up to 9,000. Then I went up to 15,000. And then I got the suite. It was the biggest place that they had. I had the top floor, and it was 2-bedroom, 2-bath, with a big kitchen and a huge patio, and it was fantastic. But it wasn't really, to be honest, by the time you paid for back then, Wi-Fi was really not, really wasn't working that well. It was, everybody still used a modem. Oh God. Everybody still used a modem, and you couldn't, you didn't have Wi-Fi or 5G or any of that kind of stuff. There was none of that. But it was a nice place. My wife, she, when I was living there, she got pregnant, and I still remember her in the kitchen of my apartment, and she's like, "You got to get out of here." And I was like, well, all right, I'm listening. And she's always been really smart about places to live. She doesn't screw around. That's why we live in a place that's 7,000 baht. The BTS wasn't even, yeah, the BTS wasn't built. And that's the thing. I remember being on Sukhumvit Road in a taxi and going, God, the traffic is so bad here. You get out and walk and you can beat the traffic. You could walk faster than the taxi, you know. So anyway, that's the bare bones minimum. Now, if you got say $1,000 to $1,300, you're in a space where yeah, you can make it, and you got to be frugal. You got to watch your money, but you can be pretty stable. You can have rent. It's around 7 to 10,000 baht. You can eat a little Western food. Um, you might have a little travel budget. You know, you can go away once in a while. Maybe you can go overseas, or maybe you can just take a trip in Thailand, and you have a little bit of money, but you're not going to have that much of a cushion. I mean, you think about it. Uh, what is that? $1,300 a month. We'll say. Let's say 1,200. That's about 40,000 baht. Maybe it's 42,000 or something, right? That's not that much money when you think about it. $1,300 is not much. When you think sometimes the rent in America is triple that, quadruple that. Now, you don't have to live like that here. I mean, if you really want, you can live in a little place, and all it is a bed. That's all you got. It's a bed. Maybe you buy your own fan, and you live in a little tiny room. And for that, maybe you pay $50, $100. But most foreigners are not going to do that. So at $1,000 to $1,300, maybe 1,500. Once you get to 1,500, that's when you get to be comfortable. 1,500 to 2,500. That's when you get to be a bit comfortable. Your rent goes up. You're paying up to about 20,000. You've got a good mix of Thai and Western lifestyle. You can save money. You can travel. You can breathe a little bit, but you still need to be smart about your money, because that money can be gone in an instant. If you got $2,000 and you're saving $500 a month, at the end of the year you got $6,000. Now that's about 200,000 baht, and you go, oh wow, I got 200,000 baht. Yeah, that's great. It's not that much though. 200,000 baht, you can be wiped out in a minute. If you don't have insurance, you got to pay 200,000 because you have something major happen to you. And when you're young, you don't think about these things. Just let me get some travel insurance, or let me not have insurance at all. Right? But if you're making $1,500 to $2,500 a month, you should be able to afford insurance, regular medical health care. And you should have decent health care. That's the way it works. And if you don't want to have it, then you better have some money saved, like a slush fund. Maybe you got 2 million baht sitting in the bank, just in case something happens to you medically. You go, I got money in the bank, I'll pay for it. But if you had something that was serious, and you almost died 3 times, and you were in the hospital for 2 months, and maybe it cost you 6 million baht, that would wipe out a lot of people. And I'll tell you what the Thai government does, and the hospital themselves. The hospital will ask you for your passport, and they will set up a payment plan. And then you have to pay them back. And then you get your passport back once you paid them off. And if you don't pay them, well, they're going to come after you. And unless you can leave the country without them getting money out of you, you're stuck. You got to pay that money back. So what are you going to do? You better have insurance, or you better have a nice slush fund. Now, when you get to around $3,000 to say $5,000, that's where you don't really want for anything. And I can tell you, between me and my wife, we're above that now. I'm not above that singularly, but between her and I, we are above that. And the thing is that most of it goes towards whatever. We've got several savings plans. She's smart about that stuff, and I just ask her how much money we got now. She'll tell me. I ask her like once every 6 months or a year. I'll ask her, "Hey, how much we got? How much you got in your retirement fund?" So that I have a general idea. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, guys. I'll have a general idea of just how much money we have, because it's important to know. If you don't know how much money you got, then you really need to. You really need to keep track of your finances at least once a week. Once a week, you go in and go, does everything match up here? Is there anything I see that doesn't belong here? And generally, I know exactly how much I have in each. I've got in Thailand, I have Kashi Corn, SCB, Thai Military Bank, Bangkok Bank. I have 3 banks, 3 accounts. I have UOB for my kids. And then at home, I have, and I don't use this one much, is Capital One. I have a checking and a savings, which I don't really use much. Amazon money goes in there, and I just kind of leave it there. I have Truist. I have a checking and a savings. And I have Charles Schwab, which I finally got squared away after months and years of them telling me I had to go into an office. I got verified, and they still didn't verify me. And I go, what's going on here? They said, oh, there's one process that you have to go through that you didn't do. We're sorry, we need to get you verified. It's our verification team, not just a customer service rep. I said, okay. And so I called them up. Of course, it was 9 o'clock at night. I'm ready to go, watch TV or fall asleep or do whatever. And, they got it squared away. So I transferred a little bit of money to the account. Now I got that. And then yesterday, my debit card came from them. Actually, Charles Schwab is, what I'll say is Charles Schwab is very good in the sense that if you are living overseas, they will have it DHL to you for no cost. You don't have to pay. I was like, I don't have to pay anything for this? They're like, no. I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. That gives me reason to put my money in that bank account as opposed to Truist, who will not send me my card, which I don't care about it now. I don't really use it that much. If I use it, I don't have to withdraw it from the ATM, but I have it as a backup, right? All right, let me read some of these things here. The average U.S. Social Security retirement and disability benefits around $1,500. 40% of retirees don't have savings. I understand. And you need to have savings. Thank you, sir, for always sharing these experiences and valuable wisdom and information. You're welcome. Dale, good morning, Jim. When you're in your 20s and 30s, your threshold for pain or discomfort is much higher. Now that I'm in my 60s, I'm far less inclined to tolerate being uncomfortable. Well, that's true. I'm not as inclined to go sleep in the youth hostel. It's not going to happen. I just don't want to do it. Why? Well, you're going to pay $10. Well, if I pay $18, I have my own bed in my own room. Why do I want to go with, I'll pay the extra $8 or whatever it is, right? So when you hit $3,000 here, $3,000 to $5,000, if you got 3,000 to 5,000, that is a high level of comfort. You can have rent that's 25,000, 30,000 and up, whatever you can afford. You can, you can do the 50, 30, 20 rule where, Your expenses are say 50%. You're saving 20%. You're blowing 30%. You can do whatever as long as you have things set up right. You have a fairly good lifestyle, and that's listen. I have a fairly good lifestyle. My wife and I, we don't combine our funds. We never have ever. Even when I was giving her money, even when she wasn't working, um, you know, I always made sure she had money. And she would ask me if she didn't have money. She'd go, "Hey, I don't have any money." Oh, okay. Sorry. Let me give you some. Now she's working and I'm not really. You know, I'm not taking photos anymore. I'm not working in boxing. I'm not working with fighters. I'm not doing any of this stuff. And quite frankly, I don't want to. I think about like now my shoulder. I think about my hands that they feel like they're all swollen up. And I think to myself, if I got to be at work, I'm not going to be as effective as I was when I was, say, 25. Now, maybe I'll be wiser. I don't know. It depends on the kind of work. But I don't particularly want to work now. No offense. It's not that I'm lazy, because I damn sure ain't lazy. But I think to myself, I got money. What do I need to work for? You know, if you have enough money to pay your bills and to save money and to get ahead, then, and for some people, you know, I mean, listen, if you're a kid and you got no expenses and your parents are paying for all your expenses, if you're making $800 a month, you think you're rich, right? At the end of the year, you got 10 grand, almost 10 grand in the bank. You think you're filthy rich. Little do you know, that money could be wiped out in a split second. When you have 3 to 5,000, well, you have the freedom to go where you want, do what you want. You can relax. You can enjoy life. I mean, you might be working, so you can't, you know, that's work time. It's different. And you should have really good health care. Maybe you have a maid. Maybe you have somebody cleaning your house or your apartment every month. And then, you know, you can start to think about other options with visas. You know, if you want to get the elite visa, maybe you can afford it. If you save up your money, you might be able to. Now, anything over about $5,000 a month, you know, if you're one of these guys, you're collecting a pension and you got like 12,000 a pension, and maybe you got income interest coming in, and you got like $12,000, $15,000. I don't really need to tell you that you can live here in Thailand. You can. You can live pretty much wherever you want. But you shouldn't be telling people, "Oh, I got all this money. I don't know what I'm going to do with it." And I shouldn't be. You don't want to be telling women that. That's just stupid. So you got to think about the hidden pitfalls, which you never know. You might have to pay an immigration fee. I mean, you know, listen, if you forget to do your 90-day report, well, they can ask you for 2,000 baht. Now, if you're some guy living off of, 20,000 baht a month, that 2,000 baht might be a lot of money for you. You know, also, of course, medical is something that nobody ever thinks about. And listen, I'll give you an example, and that's my arm. I mean, I've had a lot of injuries since I've been here. I mean, you know, when I was younger and I used to train in Muay Thai, I used to, you know, go to the gym all the time, and you know, you're going to get injuries. And I've had a lot of injuries. So you have to think about being able to pay for those injuries and having insurance to cover it. Arthur, living in Nana over 2 years from New York City. You live near Nana, okay. I take 2 to 3 trips to Thailand every year for 3 weeks at a time, but have been spending more time in Da Nang. Well, I think my wife is going to Hoi An or something, and she's like, "Should I bring Nicholas? Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to go." Been to Hoi An. Been there, done that. I mean, you know, it's nice, but I don't want to go back. You know what it is? And you know, Jono told me this. He said, you know, he has all these cliches. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. I've been to Hoi An before, and it was very nice. But I don't want to go there because I've been there. I've done that. I've been to Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh. I think she's going to go there too. And I've been there many, 5 times now, and it's very, very busy, chaotic. And I'm like, it doesn't fit into my lifestyle anymore. I like peaceful. And Da Nang is quite nice. She went to Da Nang last time, and we went together, and we liked it. It was very nice. Vietnam's got it going on, but I think they need to square a few things away before they are a top-notch destination. They're growing and getting better all the time. All right, let me look at this here. Medical costs are insane in the U.S. Well, I don't think about that anymore. I really don't. I don't think about the medical costs over there because I don't care. I care about the medical costs here. Listen, do me a favor. We got 54 people and I got 18 thumbs up. The thumbs up are free. The super chats are not. Even, listen, you get a VIP membership with this channel. It's only $1.99. I mean, you can have it as low as you want. $1.99 is the lowest it goes. That's nothing. Come on. You barely buy me a coffee. Actually, here, $1.99 now, it's at $2. That's 60, 67, 68 baht. That doesn't even buy me my espresso. So there you go. It's not much money. And if you're thinking about coming over here, you should be able to afford it. But yeah, Hoi An maybe is good for 2 days. I mean, that's all. We went twice to Hoi An. We went once to get my buddy's suit and go out to dinner. And we went out to dinner with some people, and then we went back to Da Nang, and then we went to Hoi An again and spent a full day there, and it was quite nice, very, very nice. So anyway, listen, when you start getting up into the money that I was talking about, $5,000 and above, let's say you got $10,000 a month coming in. Now you're starting to talk about, if you're a single guy, you can go to G clubs. You can afford it. You can get a membership at 1 or 2 or 3 G clubs if you want. A girl says to you, "Oh, I want 3,500 baht," and you just go, whatever. Maybe it's a little high for her, but all right, I'll give it to her. If you want to do that, you can do it. You have the money, you have the freedom, you have a buffer, and it's quite a large buffer. I know one guy, I think he's from Norway, and he lives in like Phuket, and we used to talk all the time. Now we don't really talk that much, but he was always looking for a girl, and he had some girl that he said to her, "I want you to go to university, finish your school." She finished her high school. She got done. And she was like 22 years old. He goes, "I want you to go back to university." And she refused. And he said, "You go to university because I don't want you sitting at home with your friends, playing cards, gambling, doing whatever. I don't want you to do that." So she went 1 semester, and then the next semester she quit. And he said, "You need to go back or I'm cutting you off." And she wouldn't go back. So he broke up with her. Now he's got himself, I think he's got a Vietnamese girl. So that just tells you, I mean, some Thai girls, they're just, it's ingrained in them to do things a certain way. And even if it's going to better them, sometimes they just won't do it. But if you have that kind of money, I mean, you could be living on some big house in Phuket or wherever it is. You'd be living in a huge place. You could have your own harem if you want. I got a buddy. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but he used to be a good friend of mine. Him and another guy, and he, when I knew him, he didn't have much money, and then all of a sudden he started making money, and he had a big place in Pattaya, and he was driving a Ferrari, and he had a bunch of girls that lived in his house. And I was like, well, he broke up with his girlfriend. He had a girlfriend. He broke up with her. He said, no, I can't do this anymore. I want my life. Now I have a different life. So, you know, and he bought her a car. He bought her a house. He had that much money. He bought the girl a car. He bought her a house, gave her money, and she was taken care of. So she was like, all right, whatever, fine, great. I'm taken care of. She didn't care. I mean, she loved him and everything, but you know, you get over the love with a lot of money. And then he moved in like 3 strippers, and you know, they were his girls. So if I'm not saying you have to live that kind of a lifestyle, you can if you want, but you are not worrying about money. You are in the top, you know, 5% of people in Thailand if you have that kind of money. So, you know, it's good when your partner is working. It's good when you're working and they want to work and you still make time for each other. And that's great if you can do that. I think a lot of guys, they come over and they're a little bit older and they get themselves a girlfriend. And then, you know, they're going to go travel somewhere and maybe the girlfriend can't go. And then they realize, oh, my girlfriend is working all the time. She doesn't have much time with me. And they're going, I don't have much time with her. And they're like, well, I don't want her to work. So then they stop them from working, or the girl, and sometimes the girl doesn't want to stop. You know. Also, you know, dual pricing is another little hidden pitfall. You can get around that though in some ways, but you know, there are some places like in national parks you can't get around it. And then some. Listen, I'm very lucky for this, and there are a lot of girls out there who, you know, maybe they're making 15, 20,000 baht a month, and their man is bringing in say 80 or 100,000, and the girl's like, listen, I got to pay mama and papa 10,000, 15,000 every month. I don't really have any money. So the guy goes, all right, I'll take care of you. I'll make sure that that's taken care of. So that's part of his responsibility. And that's what they do. They take care of the family. And the other thing is that you remember, you marry her, or you decide to be with her long term, that means you're involved with her family. Her mother, her father, her sisters, her brother, her aunts, her uncles, grandfather, grandmother, everybody. That might mean you got to take care of them. So before you get involved, you better speak enough Thai. It's people don't ever listen, but you better speak enough Thai to be able to communicate with them and say, listen, I'm not taking care of your whole family, or I can give you this much. You know, yeah, I'm in Bangkok now, but I lived in Phuket, near Bangla. I lived in Udon Thani. I've lived all over, but I've lived here for a long time now, a lot of years. Um, Now, of course, inflation and, you know, living keeps getting more and more expensive here. Um, and sometimes I think that it's gotten a lot more expensive, and other places have not gotten that much more expensive, but that's not the way that it is. In Thailand, the inflation rate is very low compared to other countries, but it's still getting more expensive. Things still cost more. Listen, when I came here, you wanted a plate of fried rice, you're going to pay 15 baht. Maybe you pay 20 baht with an egg on top. Now you're going to pay like 60. Now, I know that's 30 years. That's a long time. So, you know, you got to take that into consideration. But prices are getting more expensive. Find a woman with a family of achievers. You don't have the full burden of the reel of the family. What I would say is find a woman who works. Get over you being alone. I'm alone, you know, I don't know. It depends. I'm alone a lot and I don't mind it. Then I go home, my kids are there. Then a few hours later, my wife shows up, you know, and that's enough. Yeah, I've said what happened to my shoulder, but I will enlighten you. Basically, I was on the back of a motorcycle and the guy made a U-turn. He's a little guy on a big bike. He made a U-turn and he cut it too close and he ran over the curb. I don't know how the hell he did that. He ran over the curb and then he started dropping the bike. And I didn't want to go under the bike, like have a leg under the bike. And the bike is on and it's hot. I didn't want to get burned. So I'm like, I got to get the fuck off the back of the bike. And I kind of hopped off it. And I just thought everything was okay. Next thing you know, I go, oh, my side. I thought my left side. And then I thought, oh, I'm all right. I'm all right. My left side was fine. And then I'm sitting there and I just go, my arm is freaking killing me. And I don't even know what I did. I probably twisted it or something like that. And maybe it's just a strain. I don't know. But it hurts. And you know, I got some pain pills. I got ibuprofen. I got all kinds of things. And you know, I've been icing it, rubbing it down with Salon Paz. Mr. Billy gave it to me. And now I see it, and they do have some in the pharmacy. It's Salon Paz has lidocaine in it. And so I rub that stuff into my arm, and man, I don't feel anything. My arm feels fine. But it may feel a little bit better now. I don't know. I want to see in the next couple of days because this is not something that's going to go away quick. I have a big bruise on the top of my shoulder, and I was like, why do I have a bruise on the top of my shoulder? And I thought, well, maybe it's because of the tear or whatever it is. I don't know, but I got a bruise. It's probably about that big. Yeah, about that big. So, and you know, what are you going to do? I can go and get an MRI. I know where to get an MRI. It's like 8,000 baht. I can go and do that. But, you know, what's she going to tell me? Oh, yeah, you got a tear. Oh, you got a full tear. Oh, you know, no, it's just a strain. Well, I'll know soon enough, you know, so I'm not really worried about it at this point. Anyway, let's just, like I said, it's getting more expensive here. The cost of food is higher. Jesus Christ, I know that because that's what I spend most of my money on is food. Almost every day, I'm like, listen, I bought these little air freshener things. It's, I think it's Glade, and what you do is you put the can in the little thing, and then it automatically sprays out the stuff that smells good, and your room smells good. So I put it in my office. I bought one for my office. I bought two for the front rooms. And you're constantly needing to refill them. Now, these things are like 379 baht, which is what, 12 bucks, 11 bucks. Which, okay, you know, you buy a couple of them. It's not that much. It's a little investment. But now I'm stuck. I got to buy the refills every single month because you run out. So I got to buy at least 3 a month. And, you know, yeah, I mean, listen, Jim, I know it's, you know, I mean, our refrigerator is full. We have, I mean, you know, I buy the 2-for-1 stuff sometimes if I can. You can get yogurt now. You buy 2 yogurts for the and you save like 10 baht for 2 yogurts. I get cheese, get 2-for-1. And then I buy my cheese that I like, which is, you know, like 4 bucks. You know, I mean, I shop smartly, but there are things that I like and that I want and that I I want my kids to have. And it's not all Thai food, believe me. My wife will cook some Thai food every once in a while. We have chicken. She'll get the chicken. She'll get some curry or, and coconut milk and stuff like that. She'll make something. But most of the time, if I'm cooking, and now I tell my kids, hey, you're old enough. You should be cooking for yourself. You should be cooking for me. You need to think about that. All right, now the people are coming in. This is the procession that happens every morning at 10 a.m. The slow procession. Let's just see who comes in. It's not all that busy, but I would say it's about the same as usual. Anyway, so food is more expensive. Rent is increasing in expat areas. The rent is getting a little bit more expensive. This is not Central World. I don't go to Central World very often. I went for Songkran last year. Sawat DP yes. Sawat DP This is the Mall Bangkapi, which is where I am fairly often. I don't live near Central World. Central World is about 45 minutes away from where I am. It's 45 minutes to an hour away from where I am. And most of it's because of traffic. I mean, if there was nobody on the road, I could probably get there in about 30 minutes. Anyway, let's see here. Utilities are getting a little more expensive. I told you guys my rent has stayed the same pretty much, but my electricity has gone up, and I don't really know why, but I think the government cut the electricity and for a while cut the price of the electricity. But it used to be that my electricity was always around 6,000 baht. Then it went up and it was always around 7,000 baht. Then it got up to like 7,800 baht. And I was like, this sucks. I don't like paying, a couple $100 for your electricity. We have 2 air conditioners, and usually one is on. But lately, I don't know why, the price has been, it went down to 3,500 baht and it's 4,000. Right now, because it's so hot out, we have the aircon on really 24/7. One of the air cons is on for all day or almost all day to keep the house cool. And like what I do is close all the doors, and in that way, if you're in the living room, it's very, very cold. Then you can, you make sure I leave it around 25 or 26, and I'm fine with it. And I'm fine with paying like 6,000 baht for electricity, but I know my electricity is usually around 7,000. So the price is going up. It has been going up, and people don't even notice it. It says if you came 5 years ago, your old budget doesn't work anymore. 5 years? Think about if you came 30 years ago. That's what I look at. How much did it used to? Listen, gold used to be 4,800 baht for 1 baht of gold. Now it's 52,000, 50-something thousand. I don't know exactly what it is today. It's 52,000. So it has multiplied by 10. Crazy. Now, what would I do if I started over today? I would want to have at least $1,500 a month, and quite frankly, I'd rather have about 2,000. $1,500 for me, yeah, I could get by on it, but you're watching your money. I mean, if you want to save, say, 20,000 baht a month, well, now maybe you only have 30,000, 32,000 left over. You don't have a huge amount left over. So I'd like to start with at least $1,500 to $2,000. And at first, you stay in little hotels that are not that expensive, just so that you have a period of time where you can go around and look for places to live. And what I notice is all the Thais, or all the foreigners rather, want to live in the Thai areas because it's cheaper, but they want to make sure they're next to the BTS or the MRT or whatever it is. They think they're getting a cheap price because it's 15,000 baht. That's not cheap for Thais. Thais think if you're paying 7,000 baht a month, you're paying a lot of money. Oh, that's expensive. But Thais who have money, they don't really think that way. So it depends on who you're hanging out with. If you're hanging out with people that, they're earning low amounts of money, they're low income. Well, that's what they're going to think. Oh, it's so expensive. To me, 50,000, you're starting to get up there to where it's really expensive. I wouldn't live in a apartment. If you're 30 floors up, you got to think, well, in an emergency, I got to go 30 floors down. And for me, that doesn't cut it. So I need to live in a house or a townhouse all the time. I don't want to live in a condo on the 8th floor or the 28th floor. I don't want to do that. And if you look around, you can find a house for anywhere from about, and listen, this is the thing. This is Bangkok I'm talking about. Now, if you go out into the villages, you're going to save really, if you want the same standard of living, you're going to save somewhere around 30%. Some things you might save a little more, but some things you might save a little bit less, so yes, you can save money by living out in the provinces, but what are you going to do in those provinces? I mean, Jim lives in Chayapum. There's a lot of people I know. They live in Chiang Mai and Hua Hin and Pattaya. And I don't want to live in any of those places. For me, they're just no go. I'd rather live in the South, and we wouldn't pay any rent in the South. None. It's our house. We don't have to pay rent. It's already paid off. Now, it's not the most, it's not the newest, most modern house, but it's fine. I'm not, all that pretentious where I'm like, oh, my house has got to be a 3-story and it's got to look like a mansion. And I don't give a shit. As long as I'm comfortable in it, that's really all I care about. And with the vegetables and the fruit that we have, and now we've planted the durian trees, and I've got all kinds of video, and I'm trying to go back down there in the next couple of weeks. I've been trying, but my wife's waiting to find out when she has to go to Phuket again. Then if she goes to Phuket, she'll take Nicholas, I'll take Alex, and we'll meet in Surat sometime, hopefully in the next month. So then I can film the durian trees in there. And, I was really surprised because my wife said, well, the lady thought that it was 1.2 rai. It's really about 2.4 rai. So she's got this huge piece of land. Now it's in her name. So, I say we, it's hers, but okay, it's ours. I live with her. We're married, so, whatever, right? And we've been married for a long time. It's not like, oh, I've been married to her for 2 years. She's getting all my money and I don't have any left. She's paying for everything. It's her shit. She pays for it. I told her I want to pay for the durian. That way I can get some of the money, And I just went, you know what? Now that I think about it, no, just keep it for yourself. Keep it for yourself. Really, I don't need the money. I don't need it. She can have it, and I really like it there. To me, it beats being somewhere else. And if I want to go somewhere, I can just jump on a motorbike and go. So the first thing you do is stay in a little place that you're paying, 1,000 baht a day or something like that, and you give it some time, and you find a good, cheap place to live. And it doesn't have to be cheap, but a good place of value. Make sure that your visa is handled properly. You're doing everything you can. Make sure you have an emergency fund and live modestly, especially at first. Live modestly and see, well, how much do I spend if I'm living modestly. And then you say, oh, wow, I'm only spending $30,000 a month. I've got $100,000 a month. That's fantastic. So maybe I'll spend an extra $10,000 every month. Now you know where you are. And if you want to live in a place, really you need to scout it out. Because what I know what a lot of people do is, their wife or their wife's sister has a house or something, and they go live with them. Yeah, my wife lives out there. She's got a place out here, and just like me, I would not have lived in that house before. Now I will, and it's right next to a pond. We have all the water that we need to water all the fruit and vegetables. We're in good shape. But you need to go out there and figure it out. Now, what is this? Nomads are living on less than $500. No, they're not. I don't care what anybody says. And the only people who are living, and people go, oh, well, how come Thais can live for less? Because they're Thai. That's why. They don't need to get a visa. They know how to get food for cheap. They have other people around them, like family, that if they want, they go over. Mom's cooking a dinner. Mom's cooking for them all the time. They go over and eat food. Maybe the mother does their laundry. Maybe their sister does the laundry. If you're not paying any rent, then all you got to do is pay for electricity, internet if you want it, or you can get internet through your phone. You got to pay for that. You got to pay for your utilities, right? And then, if you're going to, transportation costs money. And maybe that's, you're just like, okay, well, food costs money too. If you're paying for two people, that's at least 9,000 baht a month. So that doesn't leave a whole lot. That doesn't leave you very much to play with. You're like, I've got 1,400 baht all month to do the things I want to do. So most of the time you're sitting at home watching TV. That's not a life, in my opinion. If you want to go out, you should be able to go out. This is exactly how I live. If I want to go out, there's no problem. I can go out. If I want to go somewhere, I go. If I want to go to another city, I go. Do I want to take a bus? Oh, well, a bus is 250 baht. A train is 500 baht. I'll take the train every time. Our house appeared to be a marvel when originally built, but as usual, it wasn't properly maintained. I've been upgrading the plumbing and electric over the past years. And the plumbing and the electric is something in houses that is always screwed up. I can tell you, in our house, in the kitchen, we have a little plug. Now, you plug in we usually plug in what do you call it? The power strip. And we plug in 3 or 4 things to it. Unfortunately, now, if you are running 2 things at the same time, it pops the breaker on the power strip. So we can't do it. We can only plug in 1 thing at a time. So if you're cooking with the wok, you can't cook with the oven. So we have to plug it in on the other side of the wall, because we have an extension cord with the power strip. And that way we can plug in 2 or 3 things at a time, plus 1 thing in that wall. And that's like, if you're in America, that wouldn't happen. I'm not a city person. To me, it is just too busy. Everyone is different. Well, everyone is different. And that's why I don't like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh as much as I used to. It's too chaotic. That's why I don't like to. I come into the mall, and the mall is chaotic to me. But if I go somewhere near like Khao San Road or Victory Monument or something like that, I'm like, holy shit, man. It's crazy. And that's the thing. Every time you go out of your house, you have to be prepared for what's going to happen. Nomads are not living on 500 unless they're merely surviving. Yes, we know that. That's some guys bar tab in one night. Exactly. I've spent that much, believe me. Same. Electrical provisioning in Thailand is insane. There are many YouTubers spouting this shit. It doesn't reflect the reality of living, not just surviving. Well, let me just tell you one thing, because I'm about as real a guy as you're going to get. I mean, you're not going to find somebody that is 10 times more real than me. But I'll tell you the truth. And I'll tell you the truth as I see it. That's what I should say. You got $500 a month. Good fucking luck. Good luck trying to live here. Yeah, okay. You got a little place. It's going to cost you $150 a month. Some little guest house or hostel or something like that. Okay. Now you got to pay for food. Well, that's another $150. So now you're at $300, and you got $200 left over because you don't have to pay for electricity. You don't have to pay for any of that stuff. You may not even have a phone, or your phone, you're on your Wi-Fi because it's your American phone or whatever phone it is, a UK phone, and you can use Wi-Fi. So you don't bother paying for a phone, or you get a SIM card and you don't even get internet with the SIM card other than you have Wi-Fi. And that's it. You're mooching Wi-Fi from free places as much as you can. I mean, that's the kind of life you're living. And to me, that's not, I understand some people will do it just to say, I lived there, I did that. Okay, good for you. Gets them views when they say that. You can drive a car with your feet, that doesn't mean it's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can roll the fucking thing down the hill and go, I drive my car. But that's not true. So, you gotta think it through a little bit. Let's see here. What is the best city for $1,200 a month? Jesus Christ. I don't even know the answer to that. Yeah, that's about it, Fred. How you doing, Fred? Can I live here long term on a pension? Well, not if it's $500. You can't. What's a realistic monthly food budget? That's a pretty good question. I'd say bare minimum $200, and that's where you're going to the grocery, and maybe you eat out once in a great while for a single guy, and that's not that much. I just said it. I don't know how long ago, a couple of weeks ago. Like last month, I spent 28,000 baht at the grocery store. I'm like, how in the fuck did I spend that much money? You know how you spend it? You come to the mall 4 or 5 times a week, and every time you go, you're spending 1,000 to 1,500 baht, and that's how come it adds up. Well, 200 baht a day isn't shit. That's 6,000. I understand that's 6,000 baht a month, but that's not really much. I could spend that going out to eat. Well, I know why. For me, I understand that it's 4 people, and my kids eat more than I do. Now, Jesus Christ, Nicholas is fucking huge. He's like 200 pounds now. He's big. And Alex, Alex is like, he's ripped, and he doesn't eat all that much, but he eats enough, man. So what are you coming to Thailand for? I'm curious. Is it cheaper in the north or the south? Jesus Christ. I don't know. I live in the south sometimes. I go down in the south and stay down there, and I don't have any problem with money there. Man, sometimes I go down, I put 3,000 baht in my wallet in cash, and I go, well, if I need more cash, I'll go to the bank, because I don't even think about QR code down there. And I maybe I spend 1,000, and that's like because I give money to my wife for some food or something. You know, we go to the market and we buy all kinds of food, and you know, I mean, there's like 10 people at the house. They all come over. We're eating pork. We're eating this. We're eating that. That's the only reason. And I don't have to. I don't have to do that all the time. So, but you can, you know, you can live that way in the north too. I mean, I lived in Udon Thani, which is in Isan, um, and I didn't spend much money there either. So the one thing is you want to come with enough money. Just stop listening to people who say that you can live on $500 or even $1,000 a month. Don't say, well, I'm only going to have $1,000. That's going to be enough. Don't count on that. Count on at least 1,500. And to me, you can have a bit of a life, sure. You can. But I'd rather have 2,000, not 1,500. You need to have cash in the bank too when you come here. You need to have an emergency fund. I don't mean on a credit card. You need to have $3,000 to $5,000, even 10,000 when you come here. At least that's a bare minimum. If you're coming here with 250,000, okay, great, and you got money coming every month, that's even better. Now, and then if you have the money in the bank and you have a credit line, that's great. Because sometimes what I do is I just use my American Express. I pay for everything at the grocery, and then I just pay it immediately. I pay it the same day. Oh, I spent 6,000 baht. Well, I better transfer that to the ATM, you know, through my bank to the American Express. Make sure that you have money for your visa run or your extensions, however you're living. And if you arrive here broke, you're probably going to stay broke. If you arrive here and you have, you know, $1,000 to live off of, and you think you're going to make a living on YouTube, and you just start your channel right when you come over here, man, you better think again. You better wise up, okay? And Thailand is not free. You know, there is a saying here, and that is nothing in Thailand is free. Now, there are a few things that are free here, but most of the time, nothing in Thailand is free. Just because it's cheaper than in the West doesn't mean that it's free. Thinking about buying baht now through something like Wise. The U.S. ain't looking great, both losing versus Thai baht. Making an estimate, then double it for starters. Yes, I ordered 3 dishes a few hours ago from my local Thai restaurant, $59. Yeah, my mother tells me about that all the time. Just got invited to Cha Hua Hin next weekend by my brother-in-law and nephew. They pay the tab if I act as designated driver. Yeah, that would not interest me. I'm sorry. Especially Hua Hin would not interest me. And I've been to Cha I've been to Prajuip, I've been all over there. And I just don't have the same desire to go there. I want to go to somewhere new. Somewhere new and exciting. Hamburger shopping at a big grocery store. How much? I don't know how much per pound. But you can get I think it's 500 grams. I think that's what it is, and it's 250 baht. Or you can get 2 burgers, just the actual burgers, for about 129 baht. But I forget about the, you know, I have hamburger meat in the refrigerator, in the freezer. And, you know, sometimes we use pork, sometimes we use beef. But that's what I remember. $2,500 a month is the rock bottom amount you can live off in Thailand and live rather than exist. That's not really true, Fred. There are people that have no bills. They live in an inexpensive townhouse or condo. Let me tell you something. If I was single, I got no bills. I'm debt free. So I don't need $2,500. As I said, $1,500 to $2,000 is the bare minimum. Now, 2,000, you start getting into that territory where you can spend a little bit of money, you know. Now 2,500, yeah, you're going to be living pretty good. I mean, if you're in Pattaya, you want to go out and have drinks all the time and go, you know, buy some for the girls and pull a couple chicks every once in a while. That's what it's going to cost you. My doctor in Bangkok recommends living in Cha'am now before it blows up. Well, I hate to tell you this, but Cha'am is just like Hua Hin now. It's growing. Hua Hin is done. I'm sorry. It's done. I always talk about this. I went there with Billy and Pattaya Bob about 2.5 years ago. I could not believe how much traffic there was. It was incredible. I was like, holy shit, there's this much traffic in this little town. And everything was set up for foreigners. There's a coffee shop here. There's a coffee shop right next door. There's a coffee shop there. There's, you know, everything's set up for foreigners. And that's how Cha'am is. That's where it's headed. Prachuap is already starting to be like Hua Hin also. And I love Prachuap. I mean, it's a nice place. You know, it really is nice. Beef and dairy are more expensive than comparatively. I'm going to be using organ meats to supplement instead. Dude, have you ever been here? Florin, have you ever been to Thailand, or are you just like deciding you want to live in Thailand? I seldom spend over $2,000 a month, including housing, utilities, truck payment. My budget is set up for more than that, but as always, I have a surplus. Yes, there you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And, you know, that doesn't mean that you can go out every day and buy a 200 baht breakfast and go out and eat a 300 baht lunch. And you can go out and buy 300 baht for dinner, 500 baht for dinner. You know, you got to watch your money a little bit, but you don't have to watch it nearly as much as, say, back home. Now, something else I would say is do not sign a lease immediately. Do not sign a lease right away. You stay in a hotel for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, whatever, and learn the areas that you are thinking of being and figure out where you want to go. All right. I mean, there are certain areas that, you know, you should think about, certain areas you don't want to think about. If you don't have much money, you don't want to live off a tongue lure. Make sure that the neighborhood fits your lifestyle. And, you know, long-term leases, listen, you get the long-term lease and maybe you just give it up, and then, you know, you lose a month or 2 months of your deposit. That's what happens. And some people, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm going to do it. Okay, I understand. Why the fuck would you live in Pai? Are you an idiot? Seriously, you would live in Pai? Go ahead and live there. Live with the rat packers. That ain't happening to me. No Pai, no Nan, no Lampang. I don't want to live there. It's too fucking touristy. I know you guys don't think it's a big deal that there's a lot of tourists in places. Why do I want to live somewhere where everywhere you go, you see tourists? Like Pattaya, like Pai. I don't want to see some freaking Israeli bitching and moaning about something. I don't need that. What the hell do we need to do that for? Hey, Sammy, how you doing? If you come to Thailand to hang out with other foreigners, then you shouldn't even come here. Don't come here. I understand some people want to live in Pattaya because they want pussy all the time. They got enough money and they're just like, listen, I don't want a girlfriend. I just want pussy. That's it. I want pussy. You know, I'll have 10 girls a week. Okay. You know, that's it. But like, you think I want to live in the middle of Kanchanaburi? No, I would live a ways out where I don't ever see any tourists. What the hell would I want to live there for? Why would I want to live in places that are set up specifically for tourists? That's like living right next to Disneyland. You want to live in that? You would be surrounded by people coming. Okay, go ahead, do it. It's not me. Definitely not me. Now, make sure you pick the right city. Chiang Mai is not the same as Bangkok. All right, Nikki. Um, no, that's not true. Depends on what kind of gym you're talking about. If you're talking about a gym to lift weights, there's always gyms out there. Listen, there's a gym in the fucking park right down the street here. It's a good gym. You don't even have to pay if you don't want. Or you can donate 20 baht every time you go in. It's nothing. Bangkok is not the same as Phuket. Isan is not the same as, say, Chiang Mai. And you got to ask yourself: do you need nightlife? You care about all the expat conveniences? And this is what I think about: do you want to be near the beaches, or do you want to be near the mountains? Or if I'm out in Surat, where we live, well, do I want to be in the jungle? I don't mind the jungle, but I like it there because it's very peaceful. And I mean, there's always somebody running around the house talking. There's freaking somebody yelling at the cat and this and that. I mean, that's just, you know. Can you handle living out in the villages? A guy looking for beach bars and Western food should not move to, say, Sakon Nakhon. You need to know thyself, right? I mean, if you want to wake up and walk out and you look and you see, oh, look at the beautiful valley here. Well, that's great. It's beautiful, right? You love the valley. You love the scenery. But really, what does it do for you other than you wake up, you go out? Now, because I can tell you that after a couple of days, you just go, oh, yeah, look at that. If you're not going to go walking around there, what does it matter? Does it really suit you? You need to think about this stuff. You should get a SIM card. You should get a bank account. You should get health insurance. You can get AIS postpaid if you live here. A lot of people don't know that. You can get it easy, dirt cheap. I mean, 400 baht a month. That's cheap. Now, with the bank accounts, I don't know exactly what's going on with the banks right now. I don't know if I was to walk in and go, I want to open up a bank account. Can I do that? Now, usually they would say you need some letter from the embassy or something like that. I don't know right now how it's going. So you may need a little help. You may need to use an agent. You know what that means? That means you got to pay more. You got to pay more money. That's like another $100. And they'll put in like $15 into your bank account, and you get a bank card and all this other stuff. Which big deal. But I got SCB, TMB, Kasi Corn, Bangkok Bank. I got 3 accounts there, and then UOB. So I got 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 accounts. I got 7 accounts. Yeah, well, I use it. It's $3.99. I don't know which one you have, but mine is postpaid, and it's $3.99, and you get 60 gigabytes of bandwidth. And on the off chance that you need more, you can always get a little bit more. And I mean, maybe you pay 25 baht, 50 baht, something like that. Phuket, Samui, Pattaya, Klong Tui, Nua. They're all played out. Yeah, I think they are. Well, I've already said a long time ago, I said Thailand is done. It's not as exotic as it used to be. Some people may disagree. I don't care. There's plenty to do here. You can have a great life. You can have a lot. Listen, I mean, I live here. I truly live here. I'm not an American who lives in Thailand for a year and I'm, like, wow, this is so cool here. Oh, I love this about Thailand. Oh, I've been here for 30 fucking years. And I hate to say it, but to me, it's just like living back in the USA, except things are a little bit different. You live in a place where the rules are slightly different than in the US. The food is slightly different. Oh, I know. I mean, in the US, it's going to cost you $75. Here, it costs you 15. You want to pay for something here, it's a lot easier to do it. You can scan, you can use the credit card, you can transfer, you can use a QR code, you can do whatever you want. You can use cash in most places. So I think it's better. And this is the thing. I don't want to go back to the US. I won't go back to the US. It's not going to happen. Health insurance, you don't want to screw around with. One motorcycle accident or infection can wipe you out. You need to have a slush fund for your for medical. You need to do that. Make sure you do it. Whether you have a huge slush fund for and don't have insurance, or whether you have insurance, just make sure that you can take care of any serious injuries. And I can tell you the last time that I was seriously injured, man, we had the money, but it was not easy. And I bitched and moaned at them because they just were charging and charging and charging, and they didn't do what they said they were going to do. So I bitched and moaned about it, and I was like high as a kite. They had me on fentanyl and morphine and all this, and I'm like, pay this. What are you making me pay this for? You told me I'm going into the doctor at 7 o'clock, and then 9 o'clock the next night I still haven't seen the doctor, and you're charging me for this shit. Okay, the other thing is to learn basic Thai. I hate to drone this into people, drum it into people. I hate to do this, but learn how to speak some basic Thai. I don't care if you are 60 years old. You think 60-year-old people are going to be able to learn how to speak Thai? Yes, I do. And don't use age as a reason to get out of it. Oh, well, I'm lazy, and I always use Jono. Because guess what? He's 70 years old. And he's studying Thai. And he says sometimes it's really, really hard. And sometimes he just goes, hey, I know the word for that. And he'll speak a little bit of Thai. And he tries to practice it. He goes down and, he tries to learn it. And all I say is, if you want to learn how to speak it, don't give up. Don't be a quitter. Just keep at it. It may take you 2 or 3 years to learn how to say, Sawadee krap, tong pai na krap. Okay, go yutini, jotini. It may take you a long time to learn how to say that, but eventually you will learn. You need to learn the numbers. You need to learn greetings. You need to learn how to order food. You need to learn directions, how to be polite. Just learning how to be polite in the Thai language will put you ahead of the game. Don't forget to say krap or ka. And this will reduce your frustration and save you money and actually earn you a little bit of respect if you care about that. Some people don't care. Thailand costs me more money when I'm staying there, and I don't even drink and I live in Florida. Maybe that's the Thai massage every other day. Well, how much is your Thai massage? And does it include a happy ending? I like the sound of Thai language. Don't get caught stepping off a curb looking the wrong way. Well, let me tell you, freaking curbs are something that have caused me and some of my buddies quite a lot of damage. Jono, again, he tripped on something on the sidewalk and it wrenched his knee. His knee was bad for like a year. For me, I have stubbed my toes numerous times, but the last time I hurt my ankle. And then the thing is like 2 weeks later, I did the same goddamn thing and hurt my ankle again. I re-injured it. Because the sidewalks here, you better watch where you're going. Okay? I have a colleague here who has been here about 15 years. His Thai vocabulary is about 24 words. He's lost without his wife. No, my wife is in the stall next to me. Well, I just said that. Yeah, the sidewalks are terrible. And that's one thing. And I know that, what's that guy's name? Where's he at? I think it's Brian Hicks. He was saying he likes having his wife around because she can help him. I don't want my wife's help. It's nice that she can help me. It's nice that I have my kids. Sometimes I just give the phone to my kids and I go, just listen, ask them about this and this and this and that. I don't want to talk to them. I just don't. I don't feel like dealing with them. And some people, it's like, you're speaking Thai to them and they go, oh, I don't understand you. And goddamn well they do. They just don't feel like talking to you. That happens sometimes. Now, if you say, I want to go to this market or that market, generally they're going to understand you. But do I need my wife? Do I need my wife to tell a driver where to go for me? Do I need to tell her to go and get something at a cheaper price for me? No, I don't. I'm fucking completely self-sufficient. I don't need help. I can go into immigration. I don't need help. I can go into a court. I don't need help. I don't need help anymore. And when you have that ability, you don't need to rely on somebody else. Listen, I rely on my wife for some things, of course, and she relies on me. But that's the nature of being married. But when it comes to, because of the language, I can't do this, I can't do that. Oh, I need somebody to go with me. I don't need any of that. And I can tell you, I don't speak Thai fluently 100%. I forget things all the time. So that's how it goes. Even looking the right way is not safe. Many motorbikes driving on the wrong side, or they're driving on the sidewalk. You got to look right, look left, look right, look left. And as you're crossing, look right, look left, And what I always do is put my hand out. Stop. And that way they, it's kind of puts that barrier there. And sometimes it really works. Yeah, Thai drivers don't always yield for pedestrians. Good morning. Vietnam is worse as far as playing Frogger. Well, I don't know about that. Honestly. But I mean, in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh, it's crazy there. But there are places in Thailand that are just as crazy. My friends and I call it Thai Wives GPS. Google Maps lady? Who the hell is that? Who is the Google Maps lady? Something else that you want to do is know the visa game. You want to make sure that you know what a tourist visa is. You know what a visa is compared to a stay of extension. You know an education visa, if that's what you're going to get. A retirement visa, marriage visa. You want to learn the rules. You want to get it down to where, unless something major changes and you just happen to be out in the dark about it, you know exactly what's going on. And don't overstay. Just don't overstay. Don't try to be cute and game the system. That's just stupid. And when immigration don't mess around. I understand that. Why should they? This is the law, and usually the way the law is how it is. And for foreigners, that's exactly how it is. You make one mistake and you get blacklisted. You just go, I'm not going to care about my overstay. And then they catch you and you're, 3 years overstayed. When using Google Maps in the truck, the app narrates the route. Turn left in 300 meters. I'm having trouble paying for the SETV through the e-visa system. I think it's the payment processor. You got me, man. You got me. But the Thai websites are notoriously, uh, they are notorious for making mistakes and having problems. Well, there's a saying that one of my a guy I dealt with all the time. He's a businessman. He's just a little Thai guy. He's like 5 foot tall, weighs about 115 pounds, and he's filthy rich. And he told me, he said, Scott, if you ever remember one thing about Thailand, do not put yourself in a position of disadvantage. He said, Dai Priya, that is to have the advantage. He said, most smart Thais operate with that Dai Priya mindset. They want to have the advantage on you. So you never put yourself in a position of disadvantage. And that's why if you go, I mean, I see these guys and they're out starting fights and then they get in a guy's face or they let the guy get in their face and they don't expect to fight. Well, wait, first of all, you don't need that. Don't put yourself in a position of disadvantage. And that disadvantage is when you say, I want to fight, you don't have to talk about it. If you're going to fight, fight. Otherwise, shut up. But you don't want to be in that position because you're in a position of disadvantage. And I saw something on some YouTube video. It was like a documentary thing where this guy claimed that he didn't do anything. Oh, it wasn't me. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. It was all them. It was self-defense. And they showed it, and he hauled off and whacked the guy before anything happened. So they go, dude, what's going on here? And this guy lived here. He had like a wife and kids, and he needed to go out and work like in the oil fields or something, and he couldn't go out. And I mean, it was just a nightmare. You don't want to get involved, man. And I mean, I dare say, if some Thai whacks you, you better think about if you strike back, really. And I'm not one that takes that kindly, you know. Don't fall in love with the first girl that smiles at you, and do not get emotionally involved with a bar girl. Jesus Christ. There's all kinds of women here, just like in America, Australia, the UK, wherever, Brazil, wherever you are. There's good girls, bad girls, and some women, they'll ruin your life just with a smile. So pay attention to the red flags. And if she wants your money and she wants you to know for sure that this is Thailand, you must take care of me, you tell her to fuck off. Move on, honey. Get out of here. Go find your other sucker somewhere. You get involved in a relationship and you've been together and you guys know, okay, well, we're going to have to pay for this. We're going to have to pay for that. Well, who's going to pay for that? Me or you? Or are we both going to pay for it together? These things happen. But when you're just dating her, and in the first couple of days, she goes, oh, I just want you to know, if we get together, you must take care of me. You must give me, 50,000 baht a month or something. You fuck off. That's what you tell them. Have a purpose. Don't drift. Don't be a drifter. Because eventually Thailand will chew you up and spit you out. Have a daily routine, even if it is coming to the coffee shop or going to the grocery store or whatever it might be. Have a routine. Start a project, volunteer, train, learn Muay Thai, learn to speak Thai, stay active, and otherwise it becomes beer, go to the bar, get some beer, repeat. Go to the bar, have some beer, have a drink, get a girl. Before you know it, you're like, oh shit, this is what I do all the time. This is my life. And personally, I don't know, I could be wrong, but anybody watching this video, I don't think most of you guys are the kind who want to end up on a bar stool every single day. And I always tell this story, and I know some of you may have heard it before, but there was the one time I went down to Pattaya with my boss, and I forgot what we had to do, but we did whatever we had to do, and we were like, let's just spend the night here, and we'll leave tomorrow. We'll have a nice breakfast, and we'll leave. Okay. He goes to bed. I go up, and I can't really sleep. I go out on my balcony, and I look down, and there's this guy kind of like stumbling around. He's a foreigner. He's stumbling around. And all of a sudden, this girl drives up on a motorcycle, comes screeching to a halt right near the guy. And he starts in his pidgin Thai, pidgin English. I know you. You have man. I know you. You sleep with man. You know good. And I'm just like kicking myself. I'm laughing. But I'm like, that's so sad. And the girl's, no, you know, honey, I love you. I don't want anybody, only you. You special. And he's going, no, I know you. I know you have man. You suck his cock. What you do? Oh. And I thought, please don't ever let that be me. Kill me before that happens. Shoot me. Whatever. Draw and quarter me. But don't ever let that happen to me. Because that is the worst thing. And, you know, it's just horrible. Respect the culture. You're a guest. I don't always think I'm a guest. I think, you know, I live here. I'm not really a guest. But you know what? You are. The country can decide whether they want you to live here or not. You don't always have to be a Thai, but you should try to assimilate a little bit and don't act like a loud, obnoxious foreigner. You don't want to yell in public. You don't want to touch people's heads, definitely. And you don't get drunk and act like an idiot. Now, most of the people that I ever see have problems. I'd say 90% of them have a problem with alcohol, or that particular day they had a problem with alcohol and they went crazy. And don't argue with the police. Keep your voice low. Don't get aggressive. Cop home. You want to be polite because they got you by the short hairs. They got you by the short and curlies if they want to. So you be humble and you'll go a lot further. And this is what I think. Stay off the expat forums. You know, like it used to be Thai Beason, now it's Asian or whatever it is. What I see is most of the responses are the guys are giving shit to just about everybody. Kind of bitter nonsense. And you really have to sift through stuff to find a good quality answers. And if you have some friends and some acquaintances, you can learn everything you need to learn. I don't know what that says now. Yeah, so anyway, you got to find your own way without just relying on forums, because forums aren't going to tell you much. You don't need to be rich to live here, but you do need to be smart. You need a buffer. You need some discipline. You lack discipline. You need to stop believing if you believe the clickbait that says $500 a month, you're going to live like a king here. Oh God, let me smack you a couple times, because that's just not going to fly. It's not a great life. Even $700, $800 a month is not a fantastic life that you're living. I guess if you have enough cash and you've paid for everything you need. I mean, let's just put it this way. You've got a place that you paid for. You don't have to pay any rent. You've got a closet full of food that's non-perishable. Well, you don't need to spend that much on food. Once in a great while, you spend money on food. If you got a generator, you don't have to pay for electricity. If you got water and it gets filtered and it's rainwater and you filter it out, okay, all right, fine. But most people don't do that. That's not how they live. So, don't believe that. Now, Thailand is not magic, but it can be amazing at times. Just like if I went back to the United States, I could find amazing things in the United States. I guarantee you. So understand, and if you come here broke, expect that you're going to struggle. You may stay flat broke. If you're realistic, you're financially stable and intelligent, and you're ready to adapt this, then this place can absolutely be your home. Um, what's the phrase that I use? Oh, if you want to live free, then you got to stay smart and do your expat life right. That's what you have to do. Okay? Don't be stupid. After May 1st, all passengers, well, I've been talking about that. I've already talked about it. It's very simple. As long as their website works, there's no problem. Piece of cake. And quite frankly, that's just like a TM6, which if you've never been here before, when you came to Thailand years ago, I think they stopped about a year and a half, 2 years ago. You had to fill out a form on the plane just before you landed. They give you a little form. Sometimes they give you little pencils with it or whatever. You fill out the form, and then you give the form, your passport, and the ticket stub for your flight to the immigration officer, and that was it. Well, now you don't have to. Supposedly, you're doing it before you land. I don't know why they stopped it for so long, and now they're starting it again. Thailand likes its bureaucracy. I don't really know why they do what they do. I saw some foreigners panhandling in Chiang Mai. Well, I've seen them all over. And in Thailand, it happens. They're in Thailand, they're in Chiang Mai, they're in Pattaya, they're all over the place. And I think that's pretty sad. And that comes from poor planning. And, I was watching this, I think it's called The Embassy on Australians who are overseas, and some of the people are just good people, and they had something happen, like their passport got stolen or they lost it or whatever it is. But they had this one guy from Australia, and his parents, he was like, God, he had to be like 50, 60 years old. His parents kept sending him money so that he would come home, but he kept pissing the money away. And finally, the mother is talking to the embassy. She says, listen, I want him to come home, but he can't handle the money. Every time he gets the money, he goes out and blows it. He probably goes out, pays for everything for everybody, gets a girl, thinks he's, flush with money, and then boom, next thing you know, he doesn't have any money. So the mother got the money. She gave it to him to pay the overstay. And before he had a chance to pay for the overstay, he spent like 2,000 bucks. She had to call the mother up again to get more money. She just took the money from the guy and said, listen, we're going to go and pay this. They went. He finally got on. This is a guy, he wore the same T-shirt. Every time you see him in every scene, he's wearing the same outfit, the same ratty-ass shorts, the same ratty, holy T-shirt. And I'm like, this is not the kind of guy they need in Thailand. They need to get rid of this guy. This guy cannot come back until he has a certain amount of money. And I think that actually it's a good idea that you can show how much money you have. You have $5,000 in the bank? Yes. Okay, then you can come. If you don't, you can't come. I think that the digital arrival card will be more convenient when filling out the TM6. You don't fill the TM6 out on the plane. You don't do that. Before, you used to have to do it. Now what you're filling out is the TM6 online. I had to find out info where I was staying. The digital method gives you time to research. Most of the time, you should know where you're staying, Jim. I mean, if you're a visitor, if you're not, you know where your home is. You have to do it now online before you even get there. Well, I don't know how many times I've talked about this, but probably 50. If you don't understand it, then I don't know what to tell you. But that's really all I have. Today, that is all I have. It's very easy. All you have to do is go to immigration's website, immigration.go.th. And the exact website is TDAC, TDAC, immigration.go.th. So, like you say, 3 days before, you go to that site, you fill everything out, then you are required to print out some paperwork, a QR code. You print that out, and then you show it to them when you get to Thailand. That's it. Piece of cake. That's how you do it. Okay? Well, thank you, everybody, for joining me. I appreciate it. We had something like 62 people today, which is a fair amount. Not too bad. A lot of new people. I like that. That's great. So I really appreciate everybody coming here. The rest of my routine today, I got to go to the market. I got to go to the grocery. And then probably I got to do some. You do know that, Jim, right? It's not, you don't have to fill out a TM6 also. The online form is the TM6. You don't have to fill out the TM6. So if they don't give you a paper and you're on the plane, don't go and ask them, where's my TM6 form? How come you're not giving me the form? Now, what I wonder about is what are they going to do when somebody doesn't have that paperwork? I thought they would block people. They would say, no, you can't board, but they're not going to. So when the person lands, they're probably going to make them fill out that paper. They'll make them do it right there before they even come in. That's what I think will happen. You mean, I think the digital arrival card will be more convenient than filling out the TM6 on the plane. I don't know. I mean, neither one of them is, I mean, filling out the TM6 was not inconvenient. It took like 2 minutes. And yeah, okay, you've got to know where you're going to be, but most of the time, most people have an idea or they can make up, the Miami hotel. There's a hotel. That's where I'm going to be staying. The Bangkok hotel. Oh, really? What hotel is that? The Oriental Hotel. They can put anywhere. Well, they say it may result in days, but what I've also read in 2 different articles is that if you don't fill it out, does not mean you will not get on the plane. What I think it means is you will need to fill that paperwork out right when you get to immigration, and that's the delay. You're gonna have to fill it out physically in front of them, as opposed to doing it online. Which is still, I mean, listen, I mean, it's something you have to do, and that in itself is a pain in the ass. Just like I talk about Tom, where he had a 3-month visa. Every 3 months, he has to go out of the country. The visa was good for a year, but he had to leave the country every 3 months. I'm like, dude, that's not convenient, because you have to go out of the country every 3 months. You must. You don't have a say in it. Like me, I don't have to go out ever if I don't want to. You do. That is the difference. Dang, having issues with the TDAC application. Date of arrival only allows the next 4 days. Well, it has to be before 3 days. What is not to be understood here? It can't be 4 days. It can't be 7 days. It can't be 60 days. It has to be 3, 2, 1, 1 hour. Well, it shouldn't be 1 hour, but it should be 3, 2, 1, and maybe, you can do it that way. Jesus Christ. If they do this digital arrival in a way that denies entry, it would be a visa, not just report of your address. like the TM6. Well, reporting your address is the TM30. TM6 is the entry card. I don't understand. They got, they're doing all these things. It's just crazy. It's the same as going to Malaysia. Apparently, you can only fill it out 3 days in advance. There you go. Unbelievable. Anyway, that's how we do it. Well, thank you all. I never had to do it for Vietnam. I don't know if that's how it is now. I did have to get a visa from Vietnam online, and you have to be careful to where you go for the visa for Vietnam, because you'll get one of these things that's going to charge you $80 or $60 or whatever. That's not the one you want. You want the one that charges you $25, and it's legitimately the Vietnamese government's website. That's the one you go through. I have it saved. If anybody ever needs it, send me a message and I will send you the website for Vietnam's visas. $25, at least that's what it was just, I don't know, 3 months ago. Maybe it's going to be a little bit more or something. Maybe it's $30, but it's not going to be $60 or $80 or $100. There are many websites that that's what they charge. No, Jesus Christ. This is what I mean. Saying you need what? God, this is last minute problems here. Well, fill out all the blanks. I mean, what's so hard about that? If you have to put none or NA, then that's what you got to do. Yeah, when you see hamburger, it's ground beef. I don't know. Man, you guys you're going off in 10 different directions right now that I don't even know about. Let's see here. 635 baht a kilogram. So that's less than $20 for 2.2 pounds. But that is through Butchery Beef, which is a good product. 460 baht a kilo is what premium ground beef costs here. Somebody's doing something at the ice cream joint. So that's like 200 baht a pound. So that's 602. That's about the same price. I don't know. Depends on where you're going to shop. Anyway, Jesus criminy. There we go. Fill out all the blanks. Get your $6 ground beef. And I will talk to you guys later, man. And I don't know. I wasn't going to stream today. And then I thought, I don't want to stream on Friday. And I don't want to stream on Sunday. I don't want to stream. I'll stream when I want to stream. It'll be either a Tuesday, Friday, or a Sunday. And I don't know when I'm going to stream again, to be honest. That's how it works. My name is Chuck, and I don't know. No, my name is Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. And until next time, Chok Di Leo Jerk and Mai, which means good luck and see you again. I am out of here.